At some point, I'm sure we've all seen the advertisements for miracle diets promising shocking weight loss results in a rapid amount of time, usually requesting money in exchange for their secrets and a plan. Yet, what might surprise you is just how frequently people fall for them. For example, it has been estimated that out of all Americans who diet each year, about 1 in 2 choose to do so by way of fad diets. Therefore, in today's video, we will be discussing what exactly are fad diets. Are they actually effective for weight loss? Or are they simply dangerous for our health? But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. A fad is defined as an intense and widely shared enthusiasm for something, especially one that is short-lived, a craze. So then, understandably, a fad diet is considered one which promotes its speed and ease of weight loss, but has a lack of supportive evidence and questions surrounding its effectiveness and safety. One study by Tarim et al. In 2022 listed red flags to watch out for to know whether a diet is a fad diet. These include promising rapid weight loss, usually well above realistic and safe weight loss of 1 kilogram or 2 pounds weekly, an absence of physical activity guidelines, promotes short-term changes rather than achieving lifelong sustainable goals, focuses on one type of food or eliminates any food group, cannot be maintained for lifelong periods, nutritional adequacy is questionable, fails to provide health warnings for those with chronic diseases, and lacks scientific evidence to support the claims. Now, it is debatable whether several popular diets I'm sure you'll have heard of may fall into the fad diet category. For instance, diets like the Dukan diet, paleo, keto, South Beach, and the Atkins diet may be thought of some as fad diets, but each does have evidence supporting weight loss. Since the absence of clinical trials was one of the red flags to look out for fad diets suggested by Tarim et al., this video will not be touching on any of these diets. Instead, our focus is on diets with no meriting behind whatsoever for effective weight management. Some examples of these can be seen here. Another fad diet with no proof behind for long-term weight management, which you may have heard of, is a 7-day cabbage soup diet. Here is a standard plan. Using this diet, let's examine how fad diets like this can obtain deceptively positive weight loss results. The first way it does this is through reduced water retention. On a regular diet, the consumption of carbohydrates, the easiest macronutrient to break down to blood sugar, is mostly how we give our cells the energy to function. You may have also heard of blood sugar referred to as glucose. When the cells receive enough glucose from working the best that they can, the remaining glucose left over that's not needed for the time being is turned into glycogen and stored in your body to be used as quick energy later. This is relevant in relation to water retention, as water molecules bind to glycogen. In fact, for every gram of glycogen stored, up to 4 grams of water is stored with it. So, when glycogen levels fall, which is what happens in the cabbage soup diet due to the minimal intake of carbs and in fad diets generally, the bound water levels also drop, decreasing our weight. This means that when you stop this overly restrictive diet, you will regain all that water weight as quickly as you lost it from refilling the glycogen stores. So, are you starting to see how these diets mainly provide deceptively positive weight loss outcomes? I purposefully use the word mainly here because it is true that some weight loss from undertaking fad diets will be fat loss from the calorie restriction. The problem with this though is that the caloric deficit that fad diets most often provide is too low. Take the cabbage soup diet, which only offers 1,000 calories per day. That's 400 calories below the generally advised amount daily of 1,400 in order to intake enough vitamins and minerals for our health. Examples of how excess calorie reduction can negatively impact your health are that it can weaken your immune system and therefore make you more likely to get sick, especially if you're working out vigorously or working a strenuous job. It could make you more prone to fractures through reduced bone mineral density, especially for postmenopausal women. For women, it could reduce fertility. And also, don't forget that each vitamin and mineral we intake daily has a vital function for optimal health in some fashion. Meaning, if these micronutrients aren't there, Neither are there health-derived benefits. Other negative, not as severe consequences, but still troublesome nonetheless, are that excessive calorie restriction will leave you feeling very hungry and irritable throughout the day and zap your overall energy. Not ideal, right? So, fad diets can achieve your desired type of weight loss to a limited extent, referring to reduced body fat. However, it does so at the cost of your health and well-being, which is counterintuitive when you think about it if we want to lose weight to improve these factors, as well as develop a healthier way of life. Now, there are some scenarios where physicians do prescribe very low-calorie diets. However, the NHS states that they should only be considered for obese individuals who need to lose weight quickly due to a medical issue or for surgery. In addition, they declare that these diets should not be routinely used or the first option to manage obesity and are not suitable for people under the age of 18, pregnant, breastfeeding, or who have had an eating disorder. Therefore, if you don't meet these conditions and a doctor hasn't suggested this type of diet to you, it's of the utmost importance to steer clear of them for the reasons provided. On a side note, if you are interested in undertaking our evidence-based and results-backed personalized Plato weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Moreover, another drawback of using extreme calorie restriction for fat loss by way of fad dieting is due to your body's compensatory mechanisms that coincide. Remember, your body can't differentiate between what is dieting and what is starvation. So when it receives signals of rapid weight loss, it will start to secrete hunger hormones like ghrelin to provoke you to consume more to get your weight back to baseline as it thinks you're in danger. Taking this into account, it then may come at no surprise why you would start to crave higher calorically dense foods more often after the period of excessive calorie restriction ends. What's more, this type of calorie restriction will lower the calories you expend through your metabolism, usually accounting for around 60% of the calories you burn daily. That's a significant amount of your total daily energy expenditure. One study found that low-calorie diets can decrease the number of calories the body expends by up to a quarter, which can happen for a long time after the overly restrictive diet has ceased. Therefore, once you go back to regular eating patterns, your metabolism won't burn as many calories as it did before you started the fad diet, meaning a good chance you will contrarily gain weight. Overall, these points taken together demonstrate that any reduced fat source through fad diets will eventually be replaced, if not worsened, in response to an adequate calorie supply. Furthermore, another problem with fad dieting is that people will often blame themselves when they can't commit to them, even though the issue is not the people's commitment, but rather fad dieting, which sets them up to fail in the first place. And not just due to the immoderate calorie cutbacks either. It's additionally from high cost commonly, little variety of food groups, unsociable eating practices, not correcting poor underlying eating habits, and not educating the dieter on healthy eating and portion control. Subsequently, this commonly leads individuals to try other fad diets, which they feel may be more suitable to them and their lifestyles, but once again encounter the exact unsustainable nature of fad dieting as they did before. Given the allure of rapid weight loss without knowing why it's not sustainable that we've gone through, you can see how it leads many into a vicious cycle of ineffective dieting over months, if not years. Unfortunately, this not only comes at the cost of reduced motivation and self-efficacy for many to lose weight the right way, but the ramifications of repetitive extreme weight fluctuations has been suggested in one study by researchers to be as harmful to health than if one was not to try to diet at all. This is because weight cycling, or yo-yo dieting as you have probably heard it referred to, is known to lead to hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance, hypertension, and dyslipidemia, all of which put you at higher risk for cardiovascular disease. Alongside cardiovascular disease, weight cycling has also been implicated in increasing the likelihood of psychological disorders, like eating disorders, and multiple comorbidities, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, bone fractures, and even increased risk for mortality. So, in sum, despite the highly improbable benefits of fad diets toward long-term weight loss outlined, and the subsequent risks that they put on overweight and obese persons' physical and mental health, populations who are already at threat in that regard, Many will likely still continue to seek them given the ever-emerging obesity rates, unfortunately. However, a key takeaway from this video is that if you're someone who has been going back and forth about fad dieting, at least you're now able to make a more informed opinion of whether trying or continuing one is worth it. Have you undertaken one of the fad diets we've spoken about before? What were your experiences? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So that has been our video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.